What's up, guys? So I'm in the mood to talk about some 2000s black metal. I didn't feel like doing a specific top favorite from a certain country, so what I decided to do instead was I'm doing a new idea that would be cool to see to turn into a thread, which I'm calling 10 2000s black metal classics. Because I feel like a lot of people would say, "Oh, it's a classic," say it has to be from the 90s to be considered a classic, but these are 10 examples from the 2000s that I think have been long enough as far as coming out, or they're recognizable enough to be certified as I guess future classic or whatever. So yeah, before we get into it, what we're listening to is one that almost made the list but not quite. If I did top 15, this would probably be in there. This is Enthrones with Armored Bestial Hell, 2001 or 2 I believe, Belgian black metal. Their first 6 or 7 records are awesome. After that they got kind of boring, but yeah, good record. My favorite is the debut, which let me show you really quickly. This one is definitely my favorite. This is Prophecies of Pagan Fire from 1995, but I will discuss that in a certain date. So yeah, if you don't have this is pretty cool. So there's CD box that has the first 5 records. This came out last year, so definitely worth getting. It was pretty cheap too. So if you like this kind of fast black metal, I would say this is Marduk, but with the vocals of Maniac Butcher, I guess, is what this reminds me of, especially their first couple records. They definitely sounded a lot like Maniac Butcher in the vocal department, but more intense, but Maniac Butcher is pretty brutal too, though, so yep. Again, Enthroned, Armored Bestial Hell, but Prophecies of Pagan Fire, I think is definitely the best. Let's do the LPs first, so if I remember, I'll try to say what year. The latest record I'm going to show came out in 2009, so these are all from 2000 to 2009, so nothing in the 2010s. But I may do that eventually, so let's go to, I think, Sweden? This band's either from Sweden or Norway, I don't remember, but Armageddon, The Final War approaching. So in the early 2000s, a lot of black metal bands were experimenting with industrial or weird techno stuff, or almost becoming death metal, which these guys just brought it back to the simple mid-90s style, which no bullshit, no experimentation, straight down the middle, black fucking metal as it's supposed to be played. But yeah, definitely my favorite record by them, but I like all this stuff, so yep. Killer record, this came out in 2001 on, this is a 2019 Norvis reissue, kind of other Norvis put it out, because I think of them for more atmospheric stuff, like the Panphage I showed in my last video, but yeah. It's good, simple, straightforward black metal from the early 2000s, so if you like stuff like Craft or Takei, definitely in that style, opposed to being super weird and out there like some of the other bands that were doing around this time, so yep. Again, Armageddon, The Final War approaching. Killer band, and all this stuff's good like I said, but this is, I think, the best, yep. Armageddon, 2001. Just go to Finland. Another one from 2001, I believe. This is Bexhexen with Ritual Satanum. This band, after a while, got kind of boring because they got more death metal sounding, which their death metal stuff kind of sounds like second-rate modern behemoth, but their first couple records, they were definitely a special band back in the day. Though, is this as good as the early Stargeist stuff? No, but I didn't choose that because the first Stargeist record, I think this is better than the first Stargeist record, but what Stargeist did after the first couple records are better than what these guys did, but yeah. Super riffy, evil Finnish black metal, which you can tell by the album cover. So let me show you this one, so you got the front of that. Then the back tracks. The Path of Deborah Morty, which is kind of odd, because I usually think of them for more kind of not creative black metal, it's not the right word, but more dissonant or weird stuff like Blue Dust Snow. I don't really think of them putting out a more straightforward black metal record, but that's just me, so yeah. See what colors is on. Nice LP too. I believe I got this from Indie Merch, I want to say. I've had this for a while. This was definitely my favorite record by them, but yeah. If it's super evil Finnish black metal, these guys, Sargeist, Horner, those are probably the big 3 of the 2000s Finnish black metal. Yes, I know they were technically from the 90s, but you know what I mean, because most of the stuff is from the 2000s, but yep. Again, so that is Bexhexen, Ritual Satanum. I just go to Germany for a band I believe I saw their only US show, which was rad. Dark Fortress, Talisman Eternal Dusk. So this band's first 2 records were awesome, which after the second record, they became kind of proggy, which I don't mind, because obviously I love Enslaved, so I don't mind prog and black metal, but I feel like the way these guys did it, they'd be better if they kind of ditched the clean singing, because for them, the clean vocals didn't work. Like, if it was only harsh vocals when they're more proggy stuff, I feel like it would work a lot better, but yeah. This is definitely the best, though. Again, 2001, so 3 in a row from the same year, so yeah. Put out through Century Media originally, so it's pretty rad. So yeah, to compare these guys to something, I would say this is basically like a mixture of the Somberlane Dissection mixed with Stormblast from Demu, but I probably like this more than Stormblast. Not as much as the Somberlane, but still a good record. Of all the ones I'm going to talk about today, this is probably my like top 2 or 3 if I had to rank this stuff, but there's no order, I picked it randomly, but yeah. Super killer kind of melodic and funk black metal from Germany, though they sound super Norwegian, but that's just me, so yep. Dark Fortress, the first 3 albums are awesome, but then after that, not bad. I kind of wish they would ditch the clean singing, but apparently, I think they're broken up now, but luckily I got to see them, so that was killer, but yep. Again, Dark Fortress, Tales from Eternal Dusk, put out through Century Media. I've had this one for a while too, so I don't know how hard this is to get. I've had this since like 2017 or 16, so I've had this for a good while, but yep. Dark Fortress, Tales from Eternal Dusk, killer record. Probably my top like 3 I'm gonna talk about today. Alright, so when people talk about like the big names in Swedish black metal, you say like your Dissection, Marduk, Dark Funeral. Even unanimated, I would say it gets more love from these guys, but this is definitely probably my favorite record by this band, which might be an odd choice because most people pick their debut, which is great too, but this one I still think is the best. This is Mörk Gryning with Maelstrom Chaos. This is 2001 Universal Music, but I think it's 2002 or 3, but yeah. Super infernal black metal from Sweden, which is kind of melodic too, so it's like faster and more aggressive than Dissection, but not as much. It's like late 90s Marduk, so somewhere in the middle, but yeah. Which you can tell they have some weird instruments because there's people playing a harp, so you can get some of that tale which it's kind of like a tale of 2 sides. Like side A is the more aggressive, in-your-face side, and side B is the more like kind of a melodic side. So if I had one complaint, it would have been to put each track, like to kind of switch the track order to make it like more, not more cohesive, but to make it more like break up the different sides style-wise. But yeah, this is a 2020 Season of Mystery issue, but yeah. Share the gatefold. Killer band, their last record was awesome too. I don't know if they're working on a new one, but they did one in 2000, I think it was 2021. That was probably the best since this, but yeah. Their first 3 records and the new one was awesome, so yep. Again, if you like aggressive but melodic black metal from Sweden, check it out. So that is Mörk Gryning, Maelstrom Chaos. Listen to the song, the title track, the Menace, and the Dark and Within. That's definitely the 3 highlights, so yep. Maelstrom Chaos. Alright, so this might be an unpopular opinion. It's my favorite record by this band, because I see people say this is their worst record. I completely disagree 1000%. This is Wendy with Lickford, 2003. It says Voices Music Entertainment originally, and this is a 2021 Season reissue, obviously. This is when I finally got the first vinyl treatment. I'm not sure why it took so long. Maybe because the guy died and it took forever to get the rights from his family or whatever, but yeah. Killer record. I think this is my favorite because it's the most aggressive and in your face, which the first 2 records were more like kind of, when he was just him, it was like more kind of like enslaved or Boknagar-y, but I think this is definitely, he ended on a high point, I'll just say that. Definitely, I think his best record, though I like all 4 though, but this is definitely his high point. And I think the best artwork too is something about those simple kind of like Nordic paintings that I've always been a sucker for, so even if I just see an album with artwork like this, I'll usually check it out, but yeah. Again, like I said, 2021 Season of Mystery issue, so let me show you that. There still is some of the folky influences on like his first couple records, but I still think this is where he went full pedal to the metal with it. Which I get if you were a fan back in the day and you heard his first 2 when they came out, then you heard this record. I could see why you would be kind of disappointed in the change of style, but I don't know. I didn't hear them back in the day, obviously, because 2003 3 hours 5, so I wasn't exactly listening to black metal back then. I know I'm not caught, but whatever. So yeah, Windir, Lickford, killer record, definitely my favorite, but I'm probably in the minority because people say which one's the best. Usually, it's this one seems to be the fan favorite, which I definitely can see why. It's probably my second favorite. This is on tour, but yep. I still say Lickford's the best one, but that is just me. Alright, so this is probably by far the most intense record I'm going to mention today, and it's not just a pure black metal record, so definitely a cool like change of pace, I guess. So this is Anaal Nathrakh with the Codex Necro from 2001. So as far as intensity, this is by far the most extreme record I'm talking about today. It's not just black metal, it's like black metal, death metal, grindcore, industrial, just a cacophony of extreme noise and hatred, which is rare because every once in a while you just need something to rip your face off after a long day. But yeah, my favorite record by them is the third one, which I was listening to a couple of videos ago. But yeah, this is a Metal Blade reissue, which I think their last 4 records were put out through Metal Blade. I don't remember which label it was originally, but yeah. So after this, they started incorporating some clean vocals too, almost like heavy metal clean vocals, which a lot of the time you would think it would be kind of odd to hear clean vocals in like a crazy black industrial death grind record, but it actually worked. But yeah, this is definitely the most favorable because there's no clean singing, all this intense for the throat fucking. I don't know how this dude can still talk after he recorded this. I mean, seriously, listen, this shit's like fucking window glass shattering. But yeah, Anaal Nathrakh, Codex Necro, definitely. This was needed because a lot of black metal in the early 2000s were getting kind of safe and more commercial. These guys were definitely the most extreme thing at the time, saying, hey, you think black metal's safe? Watch this, motherfuckers. Hold our beer while we do this. So, yep. Anaal Nathrakh, Codex Necro. Like I said, my favorite is the third one, but all their albums are awesome, so that is that. Alright, let's go to another. This is probably the most important record I'm going to mention today as far as, like, being influential, because you hear 1,000 bands doing this style nowadays, and these guys are like 15 years ahead of their time. This is Deathspell Omega with Fas Ite Malikati Ninam Enthrones, 2007. So like I said, they got kind of weird in I think it was 2004, so after those first 2 records, what was it? Inquisitors of Satan and Infernal Battles, which I like those records, but honestly, once they got kind of weird and out there, that's when I started to really. That's like the era I prefer. The first 2 were good, but there's kind of more like safe and like standard, which when they became super out there, that's when they found their own sound. But yeah, definitely super ahead of their time, because in 2007 nobody was doing this, but I'm sure, I think like Allsway came on later, but they're death metal, so yeah. I mean, you hear a bunch of bands playing super crazy black metal nowadays, and it's all thanks to Deathspell Omega, I'm pretty sure, so yeah. My favorite record by them is the one with the like weird tentacle thing. I don't remember what that one was called, but that's my favorite record by them, which I'm not gonna look that up, but yeah, you know which one I mean. I think it's this is Fas Ite. The Pericolitis, that's the one. Pericolitis is definitely my favorite, but this one I think is the most important. And if we're talking about influential, definitely one of the most important black metal records of the 2000s, so yep. Again, if you like super crazy out there, it's like some stuff that's like super crazy, you like, what is this? This just sounds like noise, but this is actually crazy and kind of addicting. Once you listen to this, you'll want to listen to it again. So a good combination of being crazy and out there, but actually like has memorable parts and makes you want to go back to it. So yep, Deathspell Omega, Fas Ite Malikati Indignum Eternum, but everyone just calls it Fas Ite, so look that up. But yeah, Deathspell Omega, like I said, Pericolitis is still my favorite though. This is more of a black and thrash record, but I say it's like 80% black metal, 20% thrash, I'm including it anyway. And this record rips. This is Desaster, Divine Blasphemies, 2001. I didn't realize how many albums I pulled from 2001. Like half this list is that same year, but oh well. So again, German black metal, super infernal and just in your face, which I know as far as black thrash, Destroyer 666 gets all the love. I like Destroyer 666 a good amount, especially like the first 3 records, but I think this blows anything Destroyer did out of the water, which that's probably a hot take, but like I said, I like the first few Destroyer records, but I think this is like more memorable and just more in your face. But yeah, favorite song on this one, honestly, Night Walk is probably my favorite song by them, which maybe because it has Millie Petroza doing guest vocals, which 2001 created kind of returned to form with Vinyl Resolution. Like, if this came out in 97, hearing him would be kind of odd because Creator in 97 was not good at all. But yeah, it worked better in 2001 though, so yep. Again, another band, all their albums are awesome. Like, each record they did, they've gotten closer to, like, farther away from black metal, and they still have some of that influence in the modern stuff, but I would say they started out more black metal and got more thrashy each record, but this is the perfect middle ground with still super evil, fast, intense, so yeah. Good record, definitely my favorite by them, but all this stuff is awesome though, so yep. Again, Disaster, Divine Blasphemy, just listen to Night Walk and you'll be sold, or the title track, or the Symphony of Vengeance. Or just the whole song, it's all great, but yep. That is Disaster, from Germany, if I didn't mention that. And Deathspell Omega of French, and Anaal Nathrakh from the UK. Let's go to Finland. This is Moonsorrow with Kivin Katadaja. Yeah, I totally butchered that, so here you go, because I'm a typical American who only speaks English and probably not even that good at speaking English, but yeah. 2005, between 2004 and 2007 is when this came out. Not my favorite by them. My favorite by them, I would argue, is more of like a black and progressive death record. So this is definitely, I would say, the most black metal sounding. But yeah, you can kind of tell what it sounds like by this album cover, which a lot of black metal like this. I'm picky about, but if it's done right, I love it. So yeah, super kind of like epic and out there, cool like acoustic guitars, like flutes and stuff, so yeah, not just like simple guitars and tremolo pickings. They definitely have their own unique sound, but taking influence from Enslaved of making it as their own, which I've mentioned this band before, but I showed that box set when I got it in, but yep. Again, another band where all this stuff is killer, but this is probably the high point, though it's not my favorite though, but yeah. So again, Moonsorrow with the album I definitely butchered, but there you go. Alright, the last one, let's go to the UK. If I had to rank this, is probably number one. So you know what they say, save the best for last. This is Nokturnal Mortum with the Voice of Steel. Man, this record is a trip and a half, I'll tell you. Super high quality, like double CD booklet thing, which I got these pretty cheap, so if you want them, these are awesome, so yeah. This album's pretty long, but very rewarding, though they don't sound like, but how the Mörk Gryning get into love for mixing like heavy metal and black metal together in an awesome companion. These guys did that first, and they did it like 15 years before Mörk Gryning did. But yeah, this is definitely the high watermark. Though I could argue it's like kind of like half heavy metal, half black metal. So you could argue it's like a epic heavy metal album with black metal vocals, kind of. But yeah. What I like about Nokturnal Mortum the most is they don't just stick to one style, because if they did, I would have gotten kind of bored, but what I like about the discography is you never know what you're going to get next, because the early stuff is more like, kind of, like, folky and, like, epic black metal. Well, the first record, the Twilight Fall, I would argue, is almost like a melodic death metal album, kind of, but it's an EP, but yeah. And then, like, Through the Gates of Blasphemous Fire, they just went full-on aggressive in your face. So it was the record after that one, which I don't know the name of it offhand, and then this one, the other two, they got more like epic and heavy metal sounding, so you never know what you're gonna get with them. But yeah, new phone would be nice. I know the last thing they did was the re-recording of Lunar Poetry, which I have, so I have most of their stuff. But yeah, this was the last thing they did. This came out in 2021, so I think their last original, actual new album was, I think it was this one. It was 2017, so they're definitely due for a new album. But yeah. This is definitely their high watermark for the 2000s, though my favorite is probably Through the Gates of Blasphemous Fire, but it's from 99. That's more like them basically doing, like, anthems to the Welcome to Dusk worship. But yeah, this is definitely, I think, their high watermark for the 2000s and one of the best records overall from the 2000s in general. And over what I'm talking about today, if I had to rank it, this is the number one I'm talking about today. So yep. Nokturnal Mortum, Voice of Steel, a classic already, even after it was released for like a year, people were already calling it a classic, and it's definitely well-deserved. Total masterpiece. That's it, thanks for watching. Like I said, if people want to do a response video, let's turn this into a thread. That would be cool to see some classics from the 2000s. That way we don't just see the same, like, 90s black metal records over and over again. But yeah, thanks for watching. Take care. Peace out. Goodbye.